Good morning, and welcome back to Data Centers News Asia. That's not my usual intro. I caught myself off guard there.
Yeah, well, it's been a long week, Rhys. So I think the viewers will let you off, and I certainly will. So all good.
It has been a busy week of data centering. How was your? I did see you around a few times over the over Tech Week Asia, and obviously we did some special interviews yesterday. Big thanks to Donna, to Kieran, and to Walt, to Serene, to Dean, and of course to Sunil for joining us. So that's quite a few interviews that will be coming out next week and the week after. But yeah, how was your event for DC Byte?
Yeah, it was really good. Team were all down, meeting tons of people, tons of clients in from all over the place. Tons of people who want to know more about what we do. Catch up with old friends. Yeah, lots of good stuff going on. Some good sessions, obviously. Your diversity and inclusion panel being the highlight, of course.
Being the highlight, the people panel, the only panel that wasn't about AI or sustainability. So, I think that's big talking points. And in fact, I think that might. I'm kind of taking a leap here, looking at the first news story we've got, but. Let's dive into the news, shall we? We've got a couple of investment news stories, a couple of data center news stories, and we've got a big update on the Nongsa Digital Park that Marco has contacted us about. So, Amazon first, Korea.
Yeah, so this is a story that only came out yesterday, and it's not a huge amount of detail to it, but basically they were saying that they're going to invest close to 8 trillion won. Anyone who's not familiar with won, that equates to about 5.85 billion USD. This is
that's so many won.
Yeah, that's a lot of won. Anyway, this is obviously to upgrade their digital infrastructure in South Korea. They've had a zone there since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So coming up to a decade now. But what's interesting is that apparently the investment to date is 2.73 trillion. So the future investment is almost 3 times this, which I think just gives a sense of the scale of their plan. So obviously there's issues with digital infrastructure, particularly data centers being built in Korea, but I think Amazon are obviously very bullish on this market. They've got massive demand coming through there. There was all sorts of language around making South Korea like a cloud computing and AI hub and future-proofing the country, etc. So, we're going to see a lot more capital flow in from AWS into Korea. Again, probably followed by some of the other players there as well.
That is exciting. I'm just waiting to see. I mean, the report that read on W Media and the press release attached didn't have vast amount of detail on the location, and we know that obviously South Korea, as you mentioned, there's these challenges in Seoul. The government seem really keen to get the infrastructure built up, but towards the south of the country, and we know that hasn't always been compatible with the demands of the cloud zone. So I wonder if there can be something that Amazon can arrange here and to get that moving one way or the other.
Yeah, well, it didn't like it said that number. It said digital infrastructure, didn't specifically say data centers. I imagine data centers would be a large chunk of it, but it could be cabling, it could be subsea stuff, it could be anything kind of in that whole digital infrastructure space. So let's see.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're going to India now, are we?
Back to India. We need to have a full-time Data Center News Asia office there. CtrlS are expanding. This is back to India, but out of India. So CtrlS has put a number on their out of India expansion. Now, I think officially it's Thailand, but obviously the rumors have been swirling, and I think conversations, with CtrlS, they've been looking around both the Middle East and Southeast Asia, a variety of locations, clearly very keen to break out and expand. But this is $2 billion they are planning on the pipeline they have across the Middle East and Southeast Asia. What's the change here from the previous facts that we knew?
Well, I'm not sure if they'd ever specified that 2 billion number. They also gave a timeline to 6 years. So again, rough calculations, 200 megawatts over the next 6 years. They've obviously been very successful in India to date. 12 facilities across 7 metros, if I'm not mistaken. They're
Yeah.
supporting this with significant solar capacity and significant renewables as well. With the flagship being the 100, I think just below 150 megawatts fully owned facility in Maharashtra. And again, ambitious goals to be net zero by 2030. So I wonder if this, not sure if this 2 billion includes the Thailand development, which they announced, what, 2 months ago, maybe now, 2, 3 months ago now, or if this is separate. But I have had conversations high level with them in the past, and I don't think it's any secret that they are looking at Southeast Asia and the Middle East. So I think this just a bit of clarity around their future plans, which are obviously ambitious, but the way Southeast Asia and certainly certain markets in the Middle East are growing by an established player like CtrlS, who already has most of the clients you need to have to make this happen. I think it's very plausible, and good luck to the team there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure CtrlS will show us their construction speed, and the other attributes they've brought to the India market can be transferred. Thailand looks like a good starting point. So yeah, good luck to them. Let's go back to India. I didn't mean to segue out of India there. That was accidental, because we do have another India story. Werks and Iron Mountain. This JV has been quite successful so far since they formed. They opened the first new site quite recently. We need to report on that. I'm mixing my stories here, but this is a new land acquisition in Chennai.
Yeah, Chennai in, I always get this wrong, Ambattar, which is becoming quite a, Ambattar, I think that was okay, becoming quite a DC cluster. So they've got a development, well, two separate developments, CHE1, CHE2, which is bringing a total of 36 megawatts, an additional 36 megawatts to Chennai. It didn't specify, but I think this is probably going to be two 18 megawatt buildings built to tier 3 specifications. You mentioned that the partnership has been quite successful. I would put a very in front of that. They've managed to get a number of new developments kind of up or in progress, I should say. I'm doing some retrofits to some of the older facilities as well, bring them up to kind of the Iron Mountain standards. So yeah, since 2021, they've got a lot done, and they've got pretty significant pipeline. I think just under 100 megawatts new developments that we'll be seeing in the not too distant future.
Well, I think people will wait with bated breath for our interview with Sunil Gupta of Yata to come out. Some of the statistics he was giving us around the digitization of India and the scope of the demand would make things like this 100 megawatts seem a drop in the ocean compared to what India is going to need over the next few years. So good luck to the Werks and Iron Mountain team, and don't let anyone scare you off building more data centers in India. It seems like the demand is only going to grow. NTT, this is not in India, although they are also a major player in India. They've launched their new data center in Cyberjaya, which I believe in this context is actually opened. That's the launched being the eponymous word for everything. But this is 7 megawatts. So not the biggest one, but we know NTT do have a variety of business models and offering. And I think in Cyberjaya this will be a colo type facility.
Yeah, kind of retail / wholesale. They'll have the clouds pop in there and things like that, of course. But yeah, it's different to the kind of the mass hyperscale build to suit projects that they're doing in India and also in places like the US. More of a retail or wholesale offering. We were actually, not me personally, but the team was up there last week, got a tour of the campus, this is their 6th facility, but I believe one of the facilities has been decommissioned. So I think, despite the name being 6, I think that's actually 5 live facilities. But they've got like 20 megawatts up here, which when you compare it to like the likes of the Vantage or the Edge Connects or even the Next DC announcements of recent, makes it look pretty tiny, right? But actually, in terms of actual live capacity, as of now, NTT are one of the top 3 in Malaysia, alongside the likes of Bridge and a couple others up there. So yeah, their business in Malaysia is doing well and has been doing well for a number of years. So I think this will be a nice addition to that. And like I said, I think brings the capacity up in Cyberjaya, which is not exclusive, but pretty much retail and wholesale, to 20 megawatts plus. So congrats to them on the opening of yet another facility there.
Yeah, I mean, as you kind of alluded to there, there's a big difference between live capacity and pipeline capacity. I think we forget that with some of these emerging markets where we see these huge numbers being announced, but actually the on-the-ground capacity is still just getting up and going. Maybe a future feature for DC Byte, you can add a probability calculation to the pipeline, although I don't know whether you get sued for that.
Yeah, that's a great way to upset clients doing something like that, but maybe, who knows?
Make it a rating system as long as people don't pay for sponsorship.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that covers the news for this week. Luckily, it was a quieter week because I both feeling a bit frazzled after the networking of the week. But as I mentioned at the start, we do have several videos that will be dropping on both LinkedIn and YouTube.
Are we not
Comments
going to
get future
mention
updates.
Nongsa?
Oh, I'm so Marco. I apologize. I'm yes.
We
Let's.
got this we got this news about 15 minutes ago, so apologies for our tardiness on this one.
Yes, but so this looks quite exciting actually. So Marcus shared the document with us. I think it's not good. It is available, but he didn't want it out in the public. But they have some really exciting developments. They've been contacted by the government and the Minister for the Special Economic Zone, and they have been confirmed several important statuses, legal certainty for the sites, confirmation from the government around power and utilities requirements, protection and security provided by the Indonesian government. So look, I don't know in an Indonesian context what this means, and I say I've just reviewed the document a few minutes ago, but it looks pretty exciting. I mean, this is very positive news for them, and I think I think we're hoping to hear more from Marco in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll do an interview with him and some of the operators, GDS, Gore, PDG, and the guys who are building up there.
Yeah, well, I think, like I
We're
said, we've
down
only
there.
glanced over the document. We only got 15 minutes ago, but I think this will alleviate a lot of the concerns that people had around Nongsa and I guess Indonesia. Like it's very clear. Like I think these are the five things which people who are slightly worried about some of the issues in Nongsa will be happy to see, and I think will put their mind at ease. So yeah, and interesting. Like this should be a boost for the park down there, and maybe we will see the Singapore Plus strategy with both Johor and with Batam as
Yes,
well.
I realize we completely skipped the explanation of Nonce Digital Park and assume that everyone knows what we're talking about. So I'll have to overlay some graphics from the DC by Singapore Plus document just so people can see that while we're talking. Yeah, but that's definitely exciting. So are you going back out to Nongsa soon? I know you've been up to JB recently doing your Singapore Plus tour.
Yeah, well, we will go down to Nongsa soon. It's been, I don't know, probably a couple of months now since anyone from the team was down there, and we're going down there pretty regularly. So yeah, we are due a visit. So yeah, maybe Marco once this is kind of shared more widely, we can go down and see the latest developments down there and get a sense of the context.
All right. Awesome stuff. Well, with this news, you will see at the normal time on Friday next week. Do watch the page, check out the YouTube or the newsletter. There will be some extra content, some really interesting discussions from some of the top speakers at Data Center World. And I should quickly mention that we will also be attending the Tech Week, Tech Capital event in Jakarta in December. We're going to be doing some special work with that as well. It looks like a really exciting event, much more focused on the investor angle, I think, and a lot of the financiers and the real estate aspect of data centers, which I think is an area that's perhaps not always served by the scene in Singapore is very focused on the tech side of data centers. So it'll be exciting to see that, I think.
Yeah, no, that should be good. It's 6-7 weeks away now, so that's, I think, the next regionally focused event, that one, and as you mentioned, with more of a, I suppose, a capital financing viewpoint. So I'm sure we've got promo codes and stuff that we'll be sharing in the next couple of weeks as well.
We have a discount code, which will be in the comments, but we are out of time, so but do click on it.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Cheers, Rhys.